Director, the first time you saw Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files. Did you close the files or keep reading? You're the director of the FBI. This is the largest sex trafficking case the FBI has ever been a part of. Buck stops at the top, and your testimony today is you have not reviewed all the files. Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the Attorney's
It's a simple question.
file.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
Did you tell
the
the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no?
Anyone that has been terminated at the FBI has been done so
No, the
because
question
they failed
again,
to meet the muster in their
Director,
constitutional
I will
obligation.
work on the audio-visual capabilities.
I'm going to
for a
borrow
second.
your
You can hear me?
terminology and call
I'm
bullshit
reclaiming my
on your
time.
entire career in Congress.
reclaiming my
It
time,
has been
Director.
a disgrace to the American
Director, I'm
people.
reclaiming my time.
You can reclaim your
No, you
time all you
recuse
want.
yourself.
Mr. Chairman, you're going to allow a witness to speak this way?
The first question in this exchange is the most direct one asked about Epstein across this entire hearing series, and it lands like a grenade. The first time you saw Donald Trump's name in the Epstein files, did you close the files or keep reading? Then it gets worse. The FBI director, the man who promised full Epstein transparency before confirmation, admits he hasn't personally reviewed all the Epstein files. The largest sex trafficking case the FBI has ever handled, and the director hasn't read it all. Then 6 attempts to get one yes or no answer. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? 6 times. No direct answer. The congressman puts it on the record. We will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt. Then the Government Gangsters book. Patel named 60 people. 20 already hit with adverse actions. Swalwell is on that list, at the top. Will Patel recuse himself from investigating people he publicly called government gangsters? The answer is no. And before that answer comes, Patel calls Swalwell's entire congressional career a disgrace, live, in the hearing room. This is the most aggressive Epstein exchange in this entire series. Let's go through every second of it.
Director, the first time you saw Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files. Did you close the files or keep reading?
I have reviewed not the entirety of the files, so
You haven't reviewed all of the Epstein files?
Personally, no.
You're the director of the FBI. This is the largest sex trafficking case the FBI has ever been a part of. Buck stops at the top, and your testimony today is you have not reviewed all the files.
What I've been doing is been busy providing the safest country this country has seen in modern U.S. history in historic speed, because the men and women of the FBI are given the resources to reduce the homicide rate, to reduce the drug trafficking rate, to reduce the amount of children that are being trafficked, and the number of
It sounds like
pedophiles
those
that we've
children
arrested
being
is
trafficked would
record high.
appreciate the director reviewing the files. You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not
the
released
number at least
anyone's
be 1,000
name
times.
we have not released anyone's
Could it
name in
at
the
least
Epstein
be 1,000
files that
times?
has not been credible.
Director,
And
could it at
we have
least be 1,000
released
times?
every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can
so-
characterize the numbers however you want it.
Reclaiming my time, Director.
That opening question does something no previous questioner has done across this entire hearing series. It doesn't ask about policy, process, or promises. It asks about a specific moment of decision. When you saw the president's name in those files, what did you do next? There's no clean answer to that question. If Patel says he kept reading, he's confirming Trump's name is in the files in a context significant enough to encounter. If he tries to deflect, he's doing exactly what he did, pivoting to how busy he is keeping America safe. But then the admission that stops everything. He hasn't personally reviewed all the Epstein files. For context, this is the same person who told millions of people before confirmation that the Epstein Black Book was under the FBI director's direct control, positioning himself as the person who would finally deliver transparency. He is now that director, and he hasn't read the whole file. The numbers exchange is methodical and deliberate. Swalwell starts at 1,000, works down to 500, then 100. Patel says no to both, but then says he doesn't know the actual number. That's a contradiction. You can't say it's not 500 or 100 if you don't know what it is. And Swalwell doesn't let that go, asking if maybe knowing the number is part of the job. Patel's response is to attack the question instead of answer it.
It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times. Which
It's not.
leads me-
It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job to know the number?
My job is to provide for the safety and security of this country. My job is not to engage in political
And that
innuendo
includes protecting
so you can
sexual
go out to the
assault
sticks and get your 20-second hit in your fundraising
reclaiming my
article.
time,
They
Director.
keep going, reclaiming your time, because the
Director,
people of California
If
are being
Trump- if the
underserved by
president-
your
If the
representation.
president is not implicated, why not release everything that involves
We
him?
have released everything, the president and anyone else's side, that is credible and lawfully be able to be released. Your fixation on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding
also
child
Mr. Massey's
pedophiles is disgusting.
interest.
Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone. And go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in FBI resources through my redeployment because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San
Reclaiming
Francisco
my
are
time,
needed.
Director.
Notice the two separate questions Swalwell asks here, and how Patel treats them differently. Have you spoken to Trump about the Epstein files? That gets a clean, direct answer. Never. One word. No hesitation. That's not an answer to the question asked. That's a description of a relationship with a topic. One that conspicuously avoids confirming whether the specific fact of Trump's name appearing was communicated upward. That asymmetry is significant. One question about the president gets a flat denial. One question about what information was passed to the Attorney General gets a paragraph that says everything except yes or no. The president gets a flat denial. One question about what information was passed to the Attorney General gets a paragraph that says everything except yes or no. Swalwell identifies that immediately and starts pressing. And what follows is one of the most sustained yes or no attempts in this entire series.
Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in
It's
the
a simple
attorney's
question.
file.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the president's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed
The question is
painstakingly
simple.
who
Did you
can
tell
be-
the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out
Yes
if you're
or
going to mock
no,
me?
Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No? A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F?
it
Don't
sounds
wanna
like
do
you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your
Director,
constituency
did
by
you tell the
focusing on
Attorney
reducing
General
violent
that Donald
crime in this
Trump's name-
country and the number of pedophiles that
Director,
are legally
reclaiming my
harbored in
time,
your
Director.
sanctuary cities in
Director,
California?
reclaiming
I'll
my
work with
time.
you on that. Do
Regular
you wanna
order, Mr.
work with us
Chairman.
on that?
Director,
I
reclaiming my
belongs to
time.
the gentleman from California.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or
Question
no?
has been asked and answered.
You've not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt. Director, did Donald Trump ever say to you, just find and release the entire truth? Don't worry if I'm in it.
The instructions from the administration were to release all credible information, and we have done that.
6 times. The same question, 6 different ways, across nearly 2 minutes of testimony. And not once does Patel say yes or no. In federal oversight, this matters beyond the political theater of it. A direct factual question, did you communicate a specific piece of information to a specific person, has a binary answer. Patel knows whether he told Bondi that Trump's name appeared in the files. He was in those conversations. The fact that he can't produce a simple no, while being perfectly capable of producing a simple no on the Trump conversation question 30 seconds earlier, is the core of what Swalwell is pointing at when he says evasiveness as consciousness of guilt. The informant question is the one that lands differently from everything else in this exchange. Did Trump ever provide information about Epstein as an FBI informant? That's not a hypothetical. That's asking whether there's a documented relationship between Trump and the FBI around Epstein specifically. Patel's answer, he has not been an FBI informant to my knowledge, is hedged in a way the earlier Trump question wasn't. To my knowledge. And the federal judge's statement that the DOJ holds vastly more Epstein investigation material than what's been released from the grand jury. That's a court record, not a partisan allegation. It means the we've released everything legally permissible framing has already been challenged by a sitting federal judge. Sitting federal judge.
Did Donald Trump ever provide information about Jeffrey Epstein as an informant?
Donald Trump has not been, and I can only speak for the FBI, an informant of the FBI.
So, Director, you've played this cute shell game where you say you can't release everything because the court has said that it legally is not allowed to be released, but the court calls bullshit. Judge Richard Berman said that when you went to the court, quote, information contained in the Epstein grand jury transcripts pales in comparison to Epstein investigation information and materials in the hands of the Department of Justice. So let's move on, Director. You wrote a book called Government Gangsters. You identified 20 individuals in that book. You put me on that list, at the top of the list. Thank you. My children find it flattering. 20 of those individuals have been investigated or have had adverse actions. Director, considering that you have identified these people as, quote, government gangsters, will you recuse yourself from making any investigation decisions about these individuals?
Anyone that has been terminated at the FBI has been done so
the
because
question
they failed
again,
to meet the muster
Director,
and their constitutional
I will
obligation.
work on the audio-visual capabilities.
I'm going to borrow your terminology and call bullshit on your entire career in Congress.
I'm reclaiming my time,
It has been a disgrace to the American
Director, I'm
people.
reclaiming my
You
time.
can reclaim your time all you want.
Mr. Chairman, you're going to allow a witness to speak this way?
Mr. Chairman, would you give
recuse yourself, Director?
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, would you
Mr.
admonish the
Chairman,
witness not to insult members?
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman,
the
just
committee will remember.
quick point of order. Could the gentleman be extended an additional 20 seconds to complete his thoughts, since the witness decided to interrupt him continuously?
And the witness will be able to respond if he wants. We'll make sure he has time to do that.
My question is,
continue.
will you, Director, recuse yourself, yes or no, from investigating or making decisions about the 60 individuals, including myself, that you identified as government gangsters? Yes or no?
Time of the gentleman has expired. The witness may respond if he would like.
And the answer was no, as I heard.
The government gangsters question is one that should have been asked in every hearing in this series and wasn't until now. And it cuts to something fundamental about the concept of institutional independence. Patel published a book before his confirmation. In that book, he named 60 specific individuals as enemies of the state, government gangsters. He is now the director of the FBI, which is the institution that investigates, surveils, and prosecutes people. 20 of the 60 names he published have already experienced adverse actions since he took over. Swalwell's recusal question isn't a political stunt. It's a basic conflict of interest question that any ethics framework would require. A prosecutor recuses themselves from cases involving people they've publicly prejudged. A judge recuses themselves from cases involving parties they've publicly attacked. The question of whether the FBI director should recuse himself from decisions affecting people he literally published in a book as government enemies is entirely reasonable. Patel's answer is no. He won't recuse. And instead of explaining why the conflict of interest doesn't apply, he calls Swalwell's entire congressional career a disgrace on federal record in a hearing room. The chairman's non-intervention until time expires, and then the awkward extension granted after Patel's outburst, is the institutional response to a pattern that has now played out across nearly every hearing in this series. The witness attacks the questioner. The room absorbs it. And the question that prompted the attack remains unanswered on the record.
He was a pretty disrespectful, arrogant, entitled, believing he was there by birthright kind of character. But this Patel thing goes beyond anything I've ever seen before.
It was an embarrassment, frankly, Lawrence. And by the way, no FBI director has ever been confirmed with fewer votes than Kash Patel. So he already came in with very little legitimacy. Going into this hearing on, the heels of a Fox News report where they had 10 sources tell Fox News that he's about to be canned. And one source said that Pam, referring to the Attorney General.
And he repeatedly lied to everyone who asked about it, about what could be turned over right now in the Epstein files.
He played this shell game where he said, well, we want everything released. So I went to the court and asked the court to release everything. And so that's where I read to him the court's opinion, where the Judge Brennan, actually said, no, what we as a court has, the judge says, pales in comparison to what the Department of Justice has. The court is prohibited from releasing witness testimony to the grand jury.